Food Chain, Rishadan Port, Bribery, these are just a few of the powerful cards that came out of Magic's 18th expansion, Mercadian Masques.
But these are not the cards we are talking about today. No, we are talking about the Commander Sleeper cards, the less expensive cards that still have powerful effects.
And the video starts right now.
Special thanks to our Patreon supporters who power our channel. Check out our Patreon for monthly giveaways, exclusive content, and even a starring role in our fan fight series. Link in the description below.
Hello and welcome to the day.
Thank you for spending your time with us.
I'm Jake.
I'm Joel. Welcome back to another episode of Jake and Joel Are Magic. We're going to talk about our Commander Sleeper picks for Mercadian Masques. But first, if you could do us a favor, go down there and hit that subscribe button because it would help us out wildly.
Yes, and if you feel so compelled, we have a Patreon. You can support the channel further there.
Link is down in the description below. Jake, let's jump over into the Mercadian Masques cards. I'll give them the caveat this time. We always start out, or try to, with a featured uncommon. With this set, I feel like we have a stack of about 15 featured uncommons. Not really, we only have 3. However, we do normally keep it to 1, but we found 3 very interesting ones in Mercadian Masques. And again, before you're like, hey, Jake, Joel, Rishadan Port, where the F is it? It's not in this video because these are our sleeper picks. We're trying to pick cards that are like $3 maximum.
Or less.
Right.
Yeah,
Maximum.
exactly.
We're starting off with
and
Energy
it's
Flux.
important to mention as well about Mercadian Masques that it's a bigger set.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of chafe in it. There's a lot of cards that are just absolutely garbage. And, you know, we're never going to feed you a list of cards that are just like whatever bulk because we need content. If there's a small amount of cards in a set, you're going to get a small amount of cards that we think are good.
Energy Flux is up first. We got stacks for 1 blue, 2 other on all artifacts. Seems pretty good.
Yep. There's a lot of powerful, Soul Ring, Mana Crypt. We could name them all. Thran Dynamo. Anything that's going to tax your opponent, that's going to slow them down. That's what this card does. This is just like, all right, pay the tax for all of your artifacts, for all of your mana ramp.
Right.
For whatever reason, this is going to hurt certain decks more than others, but it's a really good card. It has a lot of printings, but this is a nice original printing. It's got some important art. It's got some amazing flavor text.
The flavor text is a little too much. Khan said nothing. He just grasped the power stone and squeezed tightly. The wild flashing ceased.
Now we're going to get that flavor text going in a video, and we're going to repeat what Joel just said for 10 minutes for anybody who's interested in that kind of video. That'll be coming up in the future.
Look for ASMR Energy Flux, the YouTube channel. It's gonna be wild. Let's get into our next featured uncommon, Soothsaying. Shuffle your library for 5. That seems like a fun thing to do at the end of your opponent's step right before it becomes your turn, just to be like hee hee hee. Or you can look at the top X cards of your library, put them back in any order. That seems a little bit better.
Now this is currently a $5 uncommon, and it's because it's really good. I used to run it alongside Sensei's Divining Top just to have some additional ways of rearranging the top of my library. I believe that this card now is going to see a bit of a price dip as it has just been printed again in mystery boosters, but this is only the second printing this card has ever had. So Soothsaying is the OG, and now we have a mystery boosters print. But again, this is a card that's very good.
Yeah, I think it's great. Moving on to our third featured uncommon, we've got a red version of Blind Obedience.
Yep, any deck that's just like, I don't know, I'm thinking like Krinko or any kind of like red aggro that's just, I need my opponent's stuff to come in tap because I'm swinging every single turn, and the less blockers they have, the better. This is a nice, cheap enchantment. Again, it's sticky. We say that word around here sometimes. It's difficult to get rid of. So enchantments, artifacts, these are very popular cards in EDH, and this is really, really good for aggro players, for an aggro build. Just like a go wide, get in. I like this card.
Yeah, me too. Moving on, we got Forced March. Here is a board wipe that you can control if you've got some high CMC creatures on the battlefield.
Now, Forced March, and I'm just checking my notes, I believe Forced March, this is the only printing of this card.
Yeah.
So it's a really interesting card. Obviously, it's going to be pretty restrictive to black, but if you're looking for additional board wipes, and again, like Joel said, board wipe that you could control, look no further. Here it is, and it's like under $2.
Yeah, easily obtained. Bargaining Table is next up. This is a card that it caught my eye, and I don't think it would have if I hadn't just built and played a Kroxa EDH deck, but this is a card that caught my eye because of that. When I was playing and refining the Kroxa list, I was constantly, in a game of 4-player EDH, I would very, very regularly have at least one player in top deck mode. When you play this card and you've got a player in top deck mode, this just says tap, draw a card.
That's huge. A little bit expensive being 5 mana.
Sure.
But again, in the right shell, in the right deck, in a situation where the opponents don't have cards in hand, you're always... Any kind of like tap effect like that, it's normally going to be more expensive. And so this is a really good, really notable card. And again, a card that's very, very cheap.
Yeah, very affordable. Crooked Scales is up next. This is a little bit of a meme card. This is very like a luck-based flip a coin, have fun card. But I think it would be really fun.
Yeah, and it's renewable removal. We've talked about removal in this series before that had buyback on it. And again, this is removal where you could repeat it. And sometimes you're going to get lucky. You're just going to be able to kill something for 4 in a tap. And other times it might kill one of your things. But if you're playing like a coin flip or like a situation where you can reflip the coin, this is a really interesting card.
Yeah, Croc's Last Thumb, I believe, is the card that's going to let you reflip coins. And so Crooked Scales is suddenly a card where, yeah, you could just 4-tap and destroy something.
Really cool card. I love the art, this old art. And again, this is a card with like very few printings, and it has a really, really low price point.
Just a correction, that card is not called Croc's Last Thumb. It's called Croc's Thumb. I guess that implies that he still has a thumb left over to reflip coins. Anyway, Mercadian Atlas. This is a card that I was on the fence about including, but I know some EDH playgroups have their own ban lists, and those ban lists are normally intended to make games go a little bit longer and be a little bit grindier. No combos, no, super board wipe, no land destruction maximum, no instantly winning, this kind of stuff. So, Mercadian Atlas, in a game that goes grindier, essentially says you're drawing 2 cards a turn, because you can control it by just not dropping a land if you don't need it.
Yeah, that's true, and it's a really cool card. It's a passive effect that allows you to draw cards, so you don't have to sink mana into it to get any sort of good benefit out of it. All you have to do is refrain from playing lands. Also, Joel brought this up earlier, and this is a really good note. This is actually how you get to Mercadia.
Yeah, and that's going to be really valuable. If you want to get to Mercadia, you're going to need this.
So consider this if you're going to Mercadia, and it's also a good way to draw cards without having to pay mana to do it.
Yeah, honestly, I like it for that better. Lastly, we have Tower of the Magistrate, okay? Jake and I talked about this card, and we came to this conclusion. All right, so pretty much every EDH game I play in on MTGO, there's very regularly a player that has Lightning Greaves, and it's a problem. So, we thought, all right, whatever they want a Lightning Greaves trigger goes on the stack. Tower of the Magistrate 1 taps, target creature gains protection from artifacts until end of turn, your creature there. Equip ability fails. They have protection from artifacts until end of turn. You can't equip your Lightning Greaves. What do you think?
It's just great. And then there's other situations where you have like, big artifacts like Wormcoil Engine or whatever, just whatever kind of big artifact you can name. Like Memnarch has a great ability that it
turns
targets
stuff into
creatures and you
artifacts,
steal them.
and then you steal the artifacts.
Now, obviously, this card is colorless mana is what it's going to float passively. So if you're running like a 3-color deck, you're probably not going to want to just include this card just willy-nilly. But if you have a card that, or a deck that's like 1 or 2 colors, you have a couple flex slots where you want to have some versatility, you're looking at an amazing card here that's like less than $2.
Yeah, I'm a really big fan of this card. I'm going to have to get back to you on it. I know now I will be building it into a few EDH decks going forward to specifically test it out and see if I can catch somebody off guard and let them not use their lightning greaves. I think that would be pretty spicy.
Yeah, or any sort of like Helm of the Host, dude.
Right.
There's a lot of good applications for this. There's a lot of powerful artifacts that have come out of recent sets and obviously sets in the past that always make a big splashy impact. And I think this is one of those cards that's like a very cheap, very budget way of dealing with those. And again, this is one printing. This is
right.
the only card that exists of this. So if you're looking for a cheap card, something to just add to your commander's arsenal, I think that this is a really good choice.
Yep, I agree. That takes us back around to Energy Flux. We have to say thank you for watching this version of Commander Sleeper series. We hope you're enjoying the series as much as we are. We are having an absolute blast finding these cards and digging out little treasures. If you want to help us out, if you want to go down there and hit that subscribe button, that would be super awesome. It would just tickle us pink. If you want to support us further, we got a Patreon. The link is down in the description below. And if you want to hang out with us, we're streaming twice a week over on Twitch, Tuesday and Thursday evenings. Jake, you like to tickle us pink, huh?